So we'll use, let's say, some another logo. Okay. Now, let's first of all have a table here. We want to have a table information. So uh, for this, let's move this bit up. So we will use the employee database. I'll use the employee name, and let's remove the filter. And then we can add pick also. That is something I want to tell you today. But so there is the variance also we can add. So we have the variance, and we can add the trend as well. So let's say, so we have actually only limited only two headers. So this is just for your knowledge perspective I'm using. Otherwise, you can use a lot of information here. So for the saves done, let's say I want to create a spark line, and let's create this month. We have only 1 month here. So where is our month field? This is our month field, correct? So that's what I want here. And I want to see the designation also of these people. And I want to see the image as well, this pic actually. So this pic is nothing right now. This is actually the path which is coming from my desktop. So we have this table created, and let's quickly rename the fields. Okay, let's go here in the formatting section. So I'll just keep this. Maybe we can use this paintbrush. Let's see that. Yeah, fine. So this is how it is, and let's keep the width like this. Now everything has to be aligned in the center. So let's quickly go in the specific columns. Employee name. I'm going to keep this on the right side, left side actually. Then the designation. This is what? This is your trend, sparkline. So directly let's go to the sparkline. So I want to keep the width as maybe 2. I want to change the color. Maybe not this one. Something which can go with the theme. Okay. I want to keep the markers, and I want to keep this for the highest point. Okay. You can change the type also. I go with the default one. Size is okay to me, but you can increase the size in case if you want, like this, so it's fine. So this is looking good. And the last thing which I want to do is the style. So I want to go with the board headers. Maybe, yeah, this goes with my theme. Okay. Now, so, and this also, let's do one thing. Let's keep the effects. So this is basically, I'll keep this as in this way. So this color that I'm using, I'll use this one. In the value section, I'm going to keep the padding as 1 only. And of course the font we can, yeah, fine. Yes, now happy with this. Okay, so now here, let's keep this height and width same. Yes. Now we have sorted out this. Okay. Now you see this the pics that I have. Let me show you. Very important point I'm discussing. You have to remember these steps, okay? Because I also kind of did that. Though I know the M code also, to be very honest, but there is a formula that you have to paste there. So just go and every time you have to use, you can. Uh, and this is just the one of the way to use the images. There are a lot of other ways, direct ways also, simple ways also that you can Google. Okay. Basically what I'm saying, first of all, see, we have the employee ID and the designation and these images. I have created some, downloaded some images one by one for all my these employee IDs. Some are repeated, but just to give you an idea. So they're all in my download folder. Okay, let me show you. So I'm actually using my folder images, right? It's not coming from directly from internet. Because if it is coming from internet, then you don't have to do this step which I'm telling you now. Because internet is live everywhere, you can access images everywhere. Okay. So from internet, if you go to Azure or maybe some other, if you have your own website or GitHub is there, right? So if you have want to keep the images over there, you can, and just you have to copy the link of the images, and then the things will be very simple. But let's say we don't have that option, right? So how to do this? If you see here, I've kept all these JPG images here. See, now obviously you need to work on this because you have to pick the real pics of your employees, and that is something you can do. So now why I'm actually, so these images which I have kept here, the point is that we want these images in the dashboard. Now this is just the path. Okay. So this is just the path. So if you see, if I pick the image here, if I drag the pic here, pic is not going to come. The path is coming. That is the first thing, but we don't need this. So what actually we are supposed to do is we are, if this pic is coming from internet, if this is coming, then of course you can, I mean, see how to save the images on the internet. As I said, there are some Microsoft Azure and all that free, I think, the tools you can use, but I have never used it. Okay. So then the path would come here with that HTTP, all that. And the moment you drag and drop that field here, the images will be picked up. Okay, so this the step that I'm telling you. This is for the that specific scenario where you don't have the images on the internet. Okay, so now let's see. Again, this is very interesting. They're very powerful. When I saw this, I was so much impressed with this type of a thing. So now the first thing which we have to do, we have to go to the Power Query. Okay, let's go to the Power Query. So here we have to create a code, a function. Like, in VB also we have functions. In M code also we can create the functions. In fact, you have here also this the function tab here. Function is what? Function takes the inputs. Like VLOOKUP takes the input. Some function takes the input. Whatever number you pass to that range, it adds automatically because it is designed in that way. Correct? So here we will say, okay, we want to create a code, new query actually. Right click here. Okay, not here, outside this. Otherwise you will, if you click here, I mean, you will click, actually you are doing the right click on that table. So outside this, let's simply create a query, blank query, and the query is going to be created. You see, this is the query. Let's just go in the coding section. Remember, I have shown you this window also. It's a coding window basically. So you can see this in this code. I mean, the steps that you do, all that code is available here. I'll just show you. But you see, this is a function. So basically, function does what? Why we are creating a function? Function takes the input, as I said. So idea is that we will give the folder, my folder download, where we have 100 images, to this function. And then this function will take that input actually in this. This is how we write the functions. Equals to sign followed with a greater than sign. This is a function. Like in Excel, you write function equals to and then start typing. And in Python, you write def and then start the function. In VBA, you write function and then name of the function and then brackets the inputs that you need. Correct? Every language, every tool has its own way. So this basically, when you write like this becomes a function. You don't have to go into all this. So it's going to convert, going to do something. It's going to basically, convert that image to the binary, and we don't need to do anything. I will just simply save this, and now see, this is the parameter where I will go and write something, image, and invoke. The function will go and, you know, convert that into a binary. So for my sake, I'll just go and write here image function. Let's not keep this as query function. So function is created. Okay, so far what you have done, uh, you have just created a function. Okay, now this function, as I said, we need to go and use this function. How we are going to use this? Let's see. What I will do, the second step that you have to do after creating this function, and it's going to take just 5 seconds for you. We will import the table where I have actually all the images. On the other side, we already have an employee database here, but this does not have the images, this has the path. So this function needs actually those real images, right? So how are we going to do that? We will go in the new source, more, and let's pick the folder, because my images are in folder, isn't it? Make sure all the images have the correct extension, .jpg or whatever. So say browse, I mean, nothing should be there. Download, and these are my images. This is the folder. You have learned this in previous tutorial also, how to compile the data from a folder where you have 100, 200 files, Excel files, or whatever. Remember, this time it's a bit different, but the process is same. So this folder option is not new to you. We will simply say okay, and now this, you see, so we have all this content available here, and I'm just going to actually say transform data. I don't need to do anything. So you see, now we have these images here. This is all that image, the name of that image. So it's actually picking the image from my folder, this one. See, we have kept all the images here. So along with the image, it's creating the path also. Now this is the path actually which is found in the employee database also. So that means we can create a relationship between this table and this table, maybe on this folder path, because folder path is there as well, or maybe on the image also, right? Well, that we will see later, because ultimately if I have to go and take out that image from this, and I have to go and use that in my BI, where in BI we are using employee database, that in the table we are using those fields, right? So the moment I have the employee ID, and against the employee ID, we should know that what is the image. So first of all, let's have the first thing that let's do, which is, this is the my now the content, and this is basically the most important thing, that we have stored the information here. You see that it's now images are there, right? So I don't need rest. I think I can just go and delete all this. I don't need, I think, attribute also. I'm keeping the folder path. Let's see. Now, this table which we have here, BI images, guys, this is the parameter that I want to pass into my function. So the function will take the content, and then whatever the script that is there, that will basically will provide us the image. That is basically the plan. Okay, so the name of this is content. I'm not deleting the rest of the columns. Maybe I don't need it, but let's keep them there. So let's now, so what we are basically now supposed to do, one thing is function needs the parameters. Either you go and provide the parameter here and say invoke. So function will take that input and give you the output right over here. There will be another step here created, not step, but I mean the output, and that is how it is. Suppose if you have created a function which adds the two numbers, so you have here one number 5, there will be another parameter 2, and invoke 5 plus 2 will give the 7. So you will see the output here, right, in this window in the new step. Anyways, that is the first way, that a function takes the input. The second, another way is that you can also go and tell that I want to call the function here to take this output. So that is also possible, right? The crux is that function takes the inputs, whether you give the input manually to the function or you call the function from outside and provide the inputs. Okay, so now to call the function here, to apply the that function here, what we will do, we will use this where is that add column, and we will say let's invoke the function. I'm calling the function here in this table. Okay, so cast column name will be let's say new image. You need to go and give the function. So if you click here, you will see all the functions here. We have only one function, image fx. Otherwise, you will see the list of all function. And then on which field you want to go and use this function. Obviously, function needs the input. So I'm saying you just got to pick this binary format. And that is why we have imported the folder from here. Okay, so function now image fx, one by one, that script we have written, it will start taking all these inputs and it should be able to give us some result, right? And you see in the new column, add column, because we are using, we have some sort of this a path which is looking very different now. Okay, which is okay. So let's go and see that here. Do we have to do anything here? No. So once this path is there, now idea is that when I go in my visual, you know that in that visual, we are using the employee name, correct? And then designation, and then the actual and the target, because this table has a relationship with this and this, one to many. So there's no problem, right? Now, when I was using the pick, I was not able to see the pick. But because of my function, now something happened here, and this field, now I can use it. But how I'm going to use it? Because the point is, first of all, this table and this table, they are different tables. So we need to figure it out how we can create the relationship between these tables, one to one or one to many, whatever. I think it's going to be one to one only, because here you have the employee IDs, which are unique. And here also you have the images, and all of them are unique. So we can set up the relationship like with this folder. If I can try this folder with this, is it possible? Let's see. First of all, this has the image name. This does not have the image name, right? Because this is just the folder path. So maybe I don't need it. I can delete also it, isn't it? Well, what I will do, I will just go and use the relationship with this image, because this image actually is this image, correct? Image one. So we will say that image one, this, we will extract the images from here, correct? So in the new header, you will have everything after the last backslash, image one, image two, image three. So we will have one common field here, unique field, and this field. And then we can just go and create the relationship that this image has to be talking with this image, isn't it? Right? Because ultimately when we have a relationship, so what will happen if you are using the Ken in the dashboard? Now Ken actually belongs to image one, we know that. But this image one actually belongs to what through the relationship is this new image. So we will use the new image header over there. Make sense, right? So this is what we have to do. This is very powerful, very, very powerful. Otherwise, the easy way is that you just go and use the internet images also. But we should learn everything, we should know these things as well. So now to do this, I'm telling you one more thing, that this again one fantastic feature in the Power Query. Now, what do you think I'm going to extract this? Don't even think about the VBA, right? If you know the basic VBA, you may not be able to do it. I mean, to extract the names, right? You need to have a good knowledge of loops and if condition anyways. But what about Excel? In Excel also, you may go and use the text to column. I do not know. Well, you can use that as well. But I'm telling you a different way of doing it today here, a Power Query feature. You see, I can maybe go and say right click and I can say split the column. First of all, let's say by delimiter. Okay, split to column by delimiter is very old feature. Everybody knows it. Now here I can say that you have to split everything in the each occurrence of the delimiter. Okay, which means that C colon user AJK download everything. All this will be split and we will have the 5 6 columns here. Apart from this, why to do that? Maybe I can use the rightmost. In the rightmost means from the right side, then split the data. Well, this feature maybe seems like, let's just go and check that. You see, this feature is very nice. It has immediately split the data from the right backslash. Okay, but but this is, you can always use split. Okay, I'm telling you another way, which is sometime this also is very useful. We can go in the add column and we can, now invoke custom column. If I have to call some function, I have already created that, I want to invoke that custom column, you have already covered. Remember, if I say custom column, I can write here 4 plus 4, or maybe I can write 4 plus, let's say, double click here, like this. So 4 plus employee name, for example, or revenue, and you press OK, and there will be a new table which will be created. We have seen this. Now I'm telling you one more because of this project demand. Column for from examples. Through examples also we can go and tell the Power Query what we want to do, and the Power Query takes that sample output, observe that output, how it is should be actually calculated, how it should be given back to the user, and then Power Query automatically applies the function. Sometimes this is very useful. So just go and click here that column from example, from selection I want. Okay, so you see this is the now the window where I can have, I can tell the Power Query, look, I want the column, but how that column is going to be, that I'm going to tell you. Okay, so yeah, here what I want, basically you need what? You need image one, right? This works on a specific formats only, so that Power Query can get the hint. And if the Power Query applies that particular step, it should be, when it is going to be applied on all the values, the output should come in the same way. So for this is very important that we have some specific pattern. Like in this case, we all have the names after the backslash and there's nothing after JPG. Okay, so like if you have slash here and if you have hyphen or dollar here, it may create a problem. So you just here write the output what you need, JPG. This is what I want. This is what I want. Okay, and now this is what I want to, so if I simply go and press enter, you see this is what it says, that okay, do you want this? I just pressed enter and the system is so intelligent that it's able to find out my requirement, and I said yes, this is what I want. Okay, so this can be used in other calculations also. You can say tell the idea and Power Query will be ready. Just an example. Okay, however, Power Query also have used the same thing, text after delimiter. So my point is that, I mean, this is how you can use. We just need to extract the images from here, and now I'll go and write here final image, or I'll just write image underscore name, or maybe image is fine. Uh, Image. Okay, so once we have this thing done, and once we have this thing where we have invoked the function, now new image can talk with the can talk to the employee name through the relationship between this and this, isn't it? Right? So let's first of all, after doing all this, let's first of all close and apply. Okay, very small step that we have done. Let's create the relationship. Instead of the pick, now we will use that invoked function output, which is coming from a different table, correct or not? So first of all, we need to set up the relationship. If Power Query has already done that, I don't know. Okay, no. So keep this image here. Now this new image and image name, correct? So I'm just going to join them, and this should be one-to-one, I guess. Okay, it is one-to-many. Let this relationship created. Okay, it's created. Okay, so now if the relationship is created, it means this employee ID, if I say I need this new image here, this new image is the result of my that function, right? So binary format, you remember, so I should be able to see that instead of using the this field. I prefer using now the new image. So let's see if the relationship is there. Let's select this, remove the pick. Let's go in this table now, new image. Okay, now see, I see there was something very clumsy here. Okay, so after doing all this, I remember one step. I think that is why it is not showing. So what we have to do is we have to go to the table, and this header, you see, it's a very long syntax. So don't try to, I mean, change the width of this. We don't need all that. Don't waste your time. Just select this, and category we have to give this as image URL. Okay, this is the image URL. In table also we have seen the web URL, if you remember, in that cell element section. So same way this data type has to be image URL. And once this is done, let's go back here, see that if we are able to see, and wonderful. So now you see we can see the images, and now so okay. Now one thing which I am noticing here, that the moment I put the image here, uh, I have a repetition here. So okay, so what's the matter? You see, it's showing me a couple of times, right? And this is wrong. Okay, and if I remove this, nothing is coming. Okay, so it means this table which we are using, if this table has anything to do with this. Okay, so we are using the employee name here. First of all, I want to make sure this is employee name. Okay, now okay, so one more thing which I actually was like, I thought if it is creating a relationship, let it be, but ideally it should not be one to many. It should be one to one, correct? Uh, okay, let's go back here now. There is a problem. Need to sort it out. If I have this image here, yeah, image, because image names are always different. They are not like repeating. Image can be repeated. This icon I can use for image 4 also, who knows? But the title will always be unique. So why it's actually giving me one to many? Okay. So and we don't we we cannot apply any aggregation on the image, plus or minus, isn't it? So it seems like this is the problem, or maybe something else. Let's see. Employee name is coming from here, correct? Because remember, the filters always comes from the one side of the relationship, the table which has one side. So employee database is fine. This is also fine. Okay. So if I go in the new image, it's a matter. It should be one to one, isn't it? It should be one to one. Image name, new image. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I think relationship should be on the name. What is new image? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's basically not the new image. New image is this one, correct? And that's why I think maybe it has created some sort of thing because of which it finds repetition. But this is the image I want to link up. Okay. So I have done the mistake. This is grave mistake. Okay, so basically, yes, no, this one. Yes, there we go. You see? Okay, I didn't notice, sorry. Anyways, good that we had a problem. So one-to-one. See, in one-to-many, what happens? You finally summarize the data, you bring the aggregations, the sum, total. So it works like that. But in image, I can't do all that, So because you can't say I want to apply some sum or average function there. Let's go back and let's see that it should be sorted out. Uh, okay, so it seems like let's click here. Okay, so I want to do one thing. I'll just remove this and let me put this back here. Employee. Okay. So first of all, I have employee here, which is DN, correct? The moment I remove the filter, all people are coming. Yes. If I put their designation here, sorry, designation is there. Now, if I want this new image, okay. The problem is with the new image. Let's go back here. What's wrong with this? One-to-one with this. Employee name, the new image. What's the matter? Cross filtering should happen both. It's a one-to-one. Yes. Make this relationship active. Oh, yes, it should be active. Yeah, it's coming now. Relationship. I have just created, change that to active status. Okay. Somehow maybe it didn't pick. Okay. Let's put the designation here again. I want to check this now. Individual. This is superb. So finally we have done it. Okay. So let's recap. So first, when we created the functions, my mistake that I created the relationship between wrong headers. Obviously, that is understood. So we have rectified that. We put the right fields. After that, this relationship, when you will rewind the video, you will see that this was showing dot 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 an active relationship. So I don't know how it get created, but I have made sure that this has to be an active relationship. Do you remember this the option that why this inactive relationship gets created sometimes? I mean, what is the need of this? Do you remember this? We have covered this in data modeling also. I mean, active has to be there, but there is an option there that you can also uncheck that. So what will happen then? Who will tell me? Till the time I fill this, the relationship was inactive because of which I was not able to. But you remember this, where we have covered this inactive relationship. Sometimes it is required. In a relationship, you may have a scenario where multiple fields can be considered for that relationship, one to many or one to one. Like in this example, if you see here, it's date to date, right? And when it goes from here, it's again date to date, correct? And here it's employee to employee. And here it's employee to employee, isn't it? Now, what happens if, because now let's take this example. If you have an employee ID here and if you have this employee ID here, why will you have another field which will also have the employee name, isn't it? You will never have. So if your data is like, you have unique fields, like common field is employee name or employee ID, then the things are okay. But what happens if you have, let's say, if you remember that iteration data example, we have four different dates columns. One was iteration date, one was transfer date, one was PST date, right? So yes, so there we have a calendar table here, and now the question was, so which date we should follow? I mean, because here we have unique dates. So if I drag and drop this to that PST date, relationship is one to many. But if I drag and drop this not on the PST date, but on the date of joining or date of movement, right? In that example, or iteration date, again, the relationship can be created, right? So there we discussed that. So on which date we will go and create the relationship, how it is going to work. If I put the relationship on, let's say on the PST date, PST, let's say it's a date of joining, then whatever you will, the query when it is going to run, it will first go from this date to put the filter on that table on the PST date, not on any other date, and then we'll count whatever based on that PST date you have. If you have in the calendar, you are using Jan. So the Jan goes here, and from this table, it's going to pick the Jan data, the Jan date. And against the Jan date, if you are checking the unique items or whatever, that will be according to that PST date. But if I put the relationship from not on the PST date, but on the attrition date, when the employee has got out of the system, resigned, then the filter will go from the Jan from here to Jan on that attrition date column. And that obviously can be a different, because in under attrition, we may have 4 dates from the Jan. It means in Jan, we have 4 people iterated, but PST date can be like we have 30 such rows. So it all depends. The calculation can go wrong. So there we discussed that keeping the one relationship, which is, as my student said, that he has to keep the relationship between PST and the this date only, but at the same time he has to calculate the iteration count also. So there what we did, we kept this relationship as active, but at the same time we have used another inactive relationship by using the user relationship tag. So what
On
we
the fly relationship we create.
yeah, so user relationship is a DAX which creates the relationship on the fly, not it's not going to do any changes over here. This layout, this structure will remain as it is. So it's going to look up the relationship between, then we said user relationship, you go and count the edition date based on the calendar date what we have selected. But there we have the 2 fields. So one field was this, and the another we said it's not PST date, but it's iteration date. But for that thing to happen, we have to go and drag and drop this field here on the iteration, and automatically Power BI creates that, consider that as an inactive relationship, because Power BI say one relationship is already there, and I'm going to keep that active. So the other one, if you create in the same table, obviously that will be the inactive one. So there we have used for that reason. Okay, anyways, so you see we have because this is now, there's no doubt this has to be there with this, so there's no point, we should keep the inactive relationship. And I'm glad that we had faced this problem, because you see when you will also go and do this task, you may have some issues also. Okay, it's not always like the cakewalk. So right now we have done the things. So I'm going to put all my the tags, whatever you have. So I'm going to put the variance there. Um, I can have the variance as well in case if I want variance. I don't need it actually. Just keep the variance. And okay. And the last thing was so we can have formatting, conditional formatting. So we can have for our this what we call sales done. Just want to use data bar, and or maybe some icon, you can use that, a background color. And let's use this. So I'll prefer the light color with this one. Yes. Okay. So that's how the first thing is done. Okay. So see that. Okay. Save the file. Now, one thing which I have noticed, that you see your sale is down, correct? Because your sale is 298. This is correct. But why the variance is up? Isn't it? I was checking. This is wrong, because this 12% has to be, it has to be in the downward direction, because the sale is has got down by 32,000 numbers. So we got to fix this, the variance percentage. I think what I have done is here, if you remember, this is the what you call the target minus total, correct? So if the target is greater than 0, it means the number is positive. It means that the number from which I am subtracting, that is greater than from what is being subtracted. So if the target is greater, then actually it should be down. Okay, so we have to just go and fix this.
Sir, I think variance should be in upward direction.
Variance should be in upward direction. Why do you
Yes,
think?
because the target is less and the sales is more than that.
Oh, one second,
32.
1 second. I'm looking at 32K. So the problem is there. You're saying. One
Yes,
second. I didn't notice that. Uh, target is this. Oh yes, yes. This is wrong. No, this is okay. This is wrong. 32K because my sales are more than my target. So why are we having this down arrow? Yes, yes, very good. So let's go in the variance then. So this, I'm just going to quickly change this to okay. Now it seems all is okay. Fine. So let's see. Cross check. Yes. 6,000 sale down by 1,000. Yes, because the target, so it's falling short 600 sales around. So round number is 1K, which is correct. Anyways, I mean, you can go and check all these things. You know now how to do it, right? So now the last thing with this dashboard, what I want to create is that image part was done. So let's have top and bottom performance also here.